Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got a lot of big news I'd like to share with all of you today. So today's date is February 1st, 2025, the official start of February, and also it's the weekend. It's Saturday, so I hope you're all enjoying your weekend today. So last night in Ukraine, they got hit very hard. Well over 40 missiles were fired into Ukraine, 120 plus drones. Also, multiple regions of Ukraine being targeted. Some of the most hit very hard was Odessa. This is the video footage coming out from there. There was a historical center that was targeted, and this was the Bristol Hotel, as far as I know, in the video footage here, taking a direct hit from what looks like potentially a ballistic missile. I know Iskander missiles were fired into Odessa last night. Multiple other regions being hit very hard as well. Poltava, we had residential buildings being destroyed over there, and also Zaporizhzhia getting hit very hard with drones last night. So I've got lots of video footage, pictures, destruction coming out from Ukraine. Very sad story here, and upwards of 8 people already losing their lives and dozens injured. Okay, so another horrendous attack inside of Ukraine last night, and we've been expecting a major missile attack coming soon because it's been probably about maybe 2 weeks now, I want to say, maybe a little bit longer. And usually we see at least once or twice a month with Russia launching a major missile attack. So I saw yesterday afternoon, which it would have been like late in the evening in Ukraine. Just yesterday on X, we had reports that some of the airfields, like Olenia Airfield, we were hearing Tu-95 MS bombers taking off, also Tu-22 M3s at some of the airfields, also maybe from angles. They were taking off, getting ready to launch strikes in Ukraine. So I knew this report was going to be coming soon. So I want to give you guys all the latest here. We also have a very big report coming out from Russia that the Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery that we just reported, this was on the 29th, I believe, when it was attacked. We just reported this a couple days ago as Ukrainian drones targeted that facility very hard, and major explosions over there. So it looks like that oil refinery has shut down. Okay, so that's very big. We know for sure the Ryazan, now Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery is completely shutting their doors. And this is at least probably about 10% or so of oil refining output in total between both these facilities that has been damaged. So that's very big news. We'll talk about that as we move forward. So let's go ahead and jump into the news, guys. I've got a lot of reports to go over here. Nothing on mainstream news today, but we'll start out here on X. And we've got this report from Volodymyr Zelenskyy. Last night, Russia launched an attack on our cities using various types of weapons, missiles, attack drones, and aerial bombs, another wave of terrorist crimes. In Poltava, a residential building was hit. A section of the building was completely destroyed. 10 people were wounded, including children. Tragically, 3 people were killed. My condolences to their families. All necessary emergency services are on site, rescuing and providing necessary assistance. Damage has also been reported in Zaporizhzhia as well as in Odessa, Sumy, Kharkiv, Khmelnytsky, and Kiev regions. As of now, 6 people are confirmed wounded. In Kharkiv, 1 person was killed by a strike drone. In the Sumy region, this Russian attack claimed 2 more lives. My condolences to their families and loved ones. Every such act of terror proves that we need greater support in defending against Russian terror. Every air defense system, every interceptor missile means a life saved. It is crucial that our partners take action, fulfill our agreements, and increase pressure on Russia. Okay, so major statement coming out from Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the president of Ukraine today, and you can see a lot of regions being targeted here. But again, most of the regions mainly hit hard, at least in terms of video footage that I see, is Odessa, Poltava, and Zaporizhzhia today. So we got a video here, which I believe is out of Poltava. Take a look at this. All right, so not a great way for Ukraine to start off the month, and This is Russia most likely also getting payback for all these oil refineries that are exploding all over Russia right now. All these hits to, Russia's oil sector. We've been hearing that oil pumping stations are being attacked all over Russia as well. So this is probably Russia getting their payback, and this is the way they do this, by attacking Ukrainian civilians. Okay, also from next missile strike on Odessa. Norwegian diplomats among those at the epicenter on the evening of January 31st. Explosions rocked Odessa. Preliminary reports indicate that Russia carried out a ballistic missile strike. The blast damaged the Bristol Hotel, a completely deliberate strike by Russian terrorists. Fortunately, there were no fatalities. Some people were injured and they have received medical assistance. Among those who were at the epicenter of the strike were Norwegian diplomatic representatives, said the president of Ukraine. Odessa Mayor Hennady Trukhanov reported that there is extensive damage and destruction within the UNESCO protection program, including a building under enhanced protection that has been damaged. Okay, so we got a picture here coming out. What looks like this could be from maybe one of these missiles that were incoming. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it looks like the casing from maybe one of these missiles that were incoming. And I believe this could be the Bristol Hotel that was targeted here. Okay, so this definitely took a direct hit last night from a ballistic missile. I believe it was Iskander. Now from Anton Gerashenko, the UNESCO listed historic center of Odessa became the target of a Russian missile attack. As a result of yesterday's strike, about 15 cultural heritage sites were damaged to varying degrees. Odessa Mayor Hennady Trukhanov, said. Buildings that were damaged: Bristol Hotel, Philharmonic Center, Vuhledar House on 19 Italyski Street, Museum of Western and Eastern Art, branch of the literary museum, Sakara House. Stained glass windows in the buildings of the National Union of Architects of Ukraine and Porto Franco Bank were damaged. The Philharmonic, that's hard to say, theater has been under increased UNESCO protection since 2023, and this is a video of the Bristol Hotel. So it's the same video I had for you guys on the waiting screen when you came in, so we're not going to check that out. But we can see, lots of buildings here, part of this historical center of Odessa being the major target of attack just last night. Okay, so very sad to see that. Here's more pictures coming out from Max 24 Bristol Hotel in Odessa. So you can see here a massive hole, which looks like in the ground, I believe, or is this the top of the building? It's really hard to tell. I think it might be the top of the building. On a separate section of it, we can see a giant hole there from one of these missiles directly striking this thing. Here's the damage on the inside. Absolute insanity here. Lots of damage also here too to the staircase. We can see lots of the debris here. So taking a direct hit from a ballistic missile last night. Also another picture coming out from Odessa, from Bliskovka in Odessa. The number of victims of enemy missile strike has increased to 3, regional military administration reported. A number of historical monuments have broken windows and damaged facades. So take a look at this. This is outside near the street. I believe a lot of cars out here were damaged as well, as this historical hotel took a direct hit. Okay. Now for Max 24 in Poltava, a Russian missile hit a 5-story residential building. The entrance was destroyed. There are already casualties. Okay, so also in Poltava, we had the same report from Volodymyr Zelenskyy, but I've got more video footage coming out from this area showing massive damage to residential buildings over here. So this first video is going to show a lot of the damage, and then this video, somebody inside of an apartment building nearby freaking out as they heard this missile come in, completely destroying the area, and they're panicking. So we'll start off with this first video here. All right, so an absolutely barbaric strike we can see here from missiles striking Poltava as well. We got lots of cars that were destroyed, and this residential area with apartment homes, what it looks like here. And if you notice here, there's also a playground. Isn't that crazy that right next to this playground is what was being targeted? So we got another video coming up here, so we'll go to the next one. All right, absolutely frightening here. Imagine waking up and you hear a massive explosion. You run to your broken window, and there's just destroyed cars out here, debris everywhere from an incoming missile destroying your town. Very, very sad to see that, guys. We're going to jump onto another update now from Bliskovka again. The number of victims in Poltava has risen to 13. Okay, so the numbers just keep going up. A lot of these videos, some of them are older, some of them are newer, so the numbers might jump around. But we know, dozens of people most likely being injured and killed in these strikes. Okay, now it says here 3 children are among the victims. 3 people were killed as a result of Russian missile strike on a 5-story building. Emergency and rescue operations are underway at the site. So we'll take a look at this video footage of the emergency crews showing up to try to rescue people trapped under rubble in this destroyed area of Poltava. Take a look at this. All right, so this video shows me that Ukraine definitely needs more air defense systems. We know that recently, I think it was Israel sent something like 90 Patriot missiles over to Ukraine, and they decommissioned several Patriot launchers. So Ukraine could be receiving maybe a few of those. I'm not sure where those are going to end up. But clearly we can see here a lot of these Russian missiles made it in last night, targeting multiple regions of Ukraine. So very sad situation. Now here's another one from Bliskovka. Last night, Russians attacked Zaporizhzhia with 18 attack UAVs, reports the regional military administration. This is what one of the damaged houses looks like. So we can see massive damage here to another building. I'm not sure what type of building this is, but we can see it took direct hits as well, at least very close by. It looks like right here also massive damage to the streets here. And I'm not sure if this was also caused by missiles. It's very possible. But definitely a massive hole here right next to this building being completely destroyed after this attack last night. Now from Max 24, our soldiers and people chose close to the army, write that there will be a harsh response to today's Russian strikes on Ukrainian cities. So this is actually a picture coming out from the Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery, but looks like Max 24 just used it as an example, just kind of showing that the soldiers and people close to the army inside of Ukraine are pretty much writing that they're going to launch a major strike on Russia here very soon and kind of get some payback for this brutal attack on Ukraine, okay? Now from Max 24 in Rivne, 1 dead after an explosion near the local territorial recruitment center. 6 more were injured. Police are working at the scene. So multiple sources on X today were sharing that there was some sort of explosion at a recruitment center in Rivne in Ukraine. Not sure exactly how this happened. Was this Russian saboteurs, or was this somebody maybe against the war inside of Ukraine that wanted to shut down this office? I don't really know. Could have also been maybe an angry family member that maybe their son was killed in battle. I don't really know yet. But as soon as I get more information on that, I'll let you guys know. But we did have an explosion over here at a recruitment office in Ukraine. Now, also for Max 24, again, drones attack on Russia. Here we go. So this was actually reported yesterday afternoon, and these were some of the directions of the drones heading into Russia. But very interesting, I guess. Maybe a lot of the main footage that we're seeing coming out from this war is mostly from Ukraine because they were hit so hard with drones and missiles last night. But we did have a drone attack going into Russia just yesterday evening, but I don't really have any information on the extent of the damages just yet. But if we get some reports on that, I'll give you guys a later update at another time, okay? Now from War Translator Dmitry, Russian authorities have announced that the Sibir Kostovo oil refinery in the Nizhny Novgorod region has halted operations after debris successfully struck the facility on January 29th, sparking a massive fire that was only extinguished today. So apparently this thing was burning for several days. I didn't even know that because we had a video that came out directly after this strike took place. I showed you guys this video and did a whole report on this a few days ago. The Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery being attacked by probably dozens of drones. We can see here in the video footage completely on fire and destroyed. So there was some sort of video that came out soon after that. The Russians were trying to post a video saying the refinery was okay. I showed you guys that if you remember my update from yesterday. But looks like, according to this information, we're hearing multiple sources on X indicating that the refinery over here has completely shut down. Okay, so that's very big. I think this one had 6% total refining output for Russia, and then the Ryazan oil refinery that shut down about a week ago, that one was around 5%. So potentially a total about 11% of Russia's total oil refining output completely shut down right now. That could be potentially billions of dollars in losses, for sure in the millions. So that's very, very big, guys. Now, for more, translate Dmitry again. Liberated Vuhledar from a bird's eye view. The 155th Marine Brigade alone lost approximately 50% of its personnel, or 2,400 soldiers, during the 2-year assault. Okay, so a new video coming out from Vuhledar. This is currently under Russian control now in eastern Ukraine. And we talked about this city just being heavily hit. There used to be crazy videos of thermobaric bombs being dropped all over the place here. Probably some of the most extreme footage we've ever shown in this channel. And somebody was over here on top of a rooftop showing how destroyed it is, and now it's been liberated by Russia, but what's left of the city? Take a look.
Город Vuhledar с высоты птичьего полета.
All right, so very sad to see video footage like this of cities inside of Ukraine just completely destroyed and battered by war. And imagine, these were people's homes at one point too, and a lot of these people had to leave these areas once they were under such heavy attacks. So what uses this of Russia for Russia when these towns are just completely destroyed? Don't really see the point of this at what Russia gains at the end of the day by destroying all these towns. These will never be usable ever again. It's going to cost a lot of money to repair and rebuild these cities if they happen to reuse them again. So sad video coming out there. Now for Max 24, North Korean families are paying more than 100 times the average monthly salary for fake tuberculosis diagnosis to keep their young men from being sent to the Russian front, according to Newsweek. So a new report that just broke on the 31st, just yesterday on Newsweek, North Koreans fake tuberculosis to avoid military head to the front lines in the Russia-Ukraine war. So this is crazy too. So apparently families inside of North Korea are trying to fake tuberculosis tests for their young ones, so that way they don't end up on the front line inside of Ukraine. So this doesn't surprise me. I'm pretty sure this is something going on. I'm sure there are people in North Korea that don't want to be a part of this war. And it looks like they're starting to fake tuberculosis tests now. So that's pretty crazy news. Now from St. Jablin, we are already discussing this war with Russia. Very serious dialogues are taking place. We are trying to end it, according to Donald Trump. I will talk to Putin and we might do something significant, he added. Wow. So yeah, this was something that Trump stated, I believe, over the last 24 hours at the Oval Office. And he told reporters that right now he's going to be working with Russia very heavily, holding serious talks very soon. We already know that he's supposed to be holding a major phone call with Trump. So it looks like they are doing something behind the scenes, and maybe very soon we may hear something coming from this war, okay? Maybe there's going to be a major update, and we might hear this war coming to an end very soon, but we'll see what happens coming from that. Now, from next to breaking, America wants Ukraine to hold elections. This was stated by Keith Kellogg, a special representative of Donald Trump on Ukraine. The White House wants Ukraine to organize both parliamentary and presidential elections. As is well known, Ukrainian law prohibits elections while the country is under martial law. All right, so this is big too. If the U.S. is talking about Ukraine holding elections soon, this is a big sign also that we could see this war ending very soon. Now, hopefully that will be the case. We just don't know if it's going to benefit Ukraine. Is it going to benefit Russia? Well, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State under the Trump administration, he came out recently stating that that neither side should accept major gains, okay? That both sides need to accept concessions in some way, whether it be territorial concessions to Russia, whether it be Ukraine being able to join NATO. I don't know what's exactly going to come from this. but both sides are going to have to compromise, basically, is what he was saying. And they may not get the fairest deal on either side, but it really just depends on what the final peace deal is going to be between Russia and Ukraine. For us to really see who's going to benefit from this, but we'll have to see what happens here in the coming weeks. Now, for more translated Dmitry, the Russian armed forces heroically targeted their own field in the Lipetsk region, leaving 540 Russian families without electricity, water, and mobile communication. Local authorities claimed it was merely a spent rocket stage. So once again, it looks like now in the Lipetsk region, which is far away from the Ukrainian front line, we had another bomb that was dropped, probably another glide bomb. A lot of times these glide bombs drop way too early. We see a lot of this in Belgorod. So this was a new video coming out showing massive damage over here inside the Lipetsk region. And looks like it may have dropped on some critical infrastructure, excuse me, inside the Lipetsk region, destroying water, electricity, things like that. We could see a massive hole over here near a village. Okay, so looks like several people left without water, electricity, and critical infrastructure after this strike. So that's something we've seen very consistently with the Russian Air Force. They appear to be dropping these bombs very early sometimes. So also for Max 24, Finland will build a large explosives factory. This will also help in providing Ukraine with ammunition, Minister of Defense of Finland reported. All right, so lately, lots of Baltic nations up here, Sweden, Finland especially, been handing out major aid packages over to Ukraine. Looks like Finland's going to be building a large explosive factory now to help out Ukraine with ammunition. So that's very big as well. So big shout out to Finland for that. Now, here's that report I was just talking about with you guys from Marco Rubio. It says Max 24. U.S. Secretary of State Rubio said that neither Ukraine nor Russia should count on a victory in the war. According to him, Ukraine will definitely not be able to return the territories occupied by Russia. Russia will also have to sacrifice something and make concessions. Which ones exactly will become clear during the negotiations. Rubio refused to voice the possible terms of the deal in advance. So this is a good talking point. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Share what you think is going to happen with this war. Do you think that Ukraine is going to get more of the benefit from this war, or do you think Russia will benefit more? Who do you think is going to get a better deal out of this? I really don't know what's going to happen yet. I think it could really go either way. But definitely we could see maybe Russia getting more of a handout here versus Ukraine. And we've already been hearing as well from the Trump administration that they might kind of force Ukraine to give up the territories that's lost, considering that Ukraine doesn't really have the manpower to gain it back. So we'll have to see what happens here, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments on that. Now for Max 24, the legendary steel of the Donetsk region began to be surrounded by nets against FPV drones. All right, so this is like a sign inside of the Donetsk region. They had to start covering it with anti-drone nets as the Russians are really closing in. They're really starting to push hard in the Donetsk region. It's not looking good for Ukraine. I think it would be better for Ukraine to end this war sooner than later, because also, maybe they're making major strikes inside of Russia, targeting these oil refineries, destroying Russia's oil industry, whatever it might be. But at least on the Eastern Front, we're still seeing Russia making repeated gains consistently, especially in the Donetsk region. And this is more indication of that the Russians are closing in on taking the entirety of Donetsk more and more every day, as now they're starting to have to install these anti-drone nets, okay? Two more reports to go over before we get you out of here. From Max 24, Ukrainian Air Force reports the downing of some missiles, quantity not reported, and 56 strike UAVs out of a total of 165 air targets. Another 61 drones were lost due to electronic warfare. So overall, it says 7 Iskander-M KN-23 ballistic missiles were fired into Ukraine, 7 Iskander-K cruise missiles, 8 KH-22-32 cruise missiles, 12 KH-59, KH-69, KH-31P guided aircraft missiles, 4 caliber cruise missiles, 8 KH-101, KH-55 CM cruise missiles, 123 strike UAVs. Okay, so we can see a massive attack on Ukraine was launched last night. So yeah, well over 120 Shahed drones were fired into Ukraine, and well over 40 missiles. I think it was something around like 46 in total being confirmed. Very crazy attack last night. Now, finally, our last update of the day from the Kyiv Independent. These are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of February 1st, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Now, it says here Russia's losses as of February 1st: 1,430 troops, 22 AFVs, 77 vehicles and fuel tanks, 9 tanks, 48 artillery systems, 121 UAVs, 1 MLRS, and 1 special equipment being destroyed last night, according to Ukrainian intelligence on the Russian side. Okay, so lots of big hits inside of Ukraine last night. And definitely was very action packed over there as they were being attacked by well over 40 missiles and 120 drones. So massive damage reported across Ukraine last night. And if I get more information on these strikes inside of Russia when it comes to these UAV drones that were fired last night into Russian territory, I'll give you guys another update later. But this was some of the latest coming out from the war today on February 1st, 2025. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in with us today. If you got something out of this update, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.